Amigos, we're back again. 2 videos in 2 weeks. That's like unheard of for me. But anyway, we're back. We got the same clock up there. We got the same wall behind me. And we're talking about the same topic. So I figured we'll go Grunter again because no one talks much about catching Grunter. But they're such a fantastic fish to catch. And as I said last time, I really like catching them because they're big, or they get big. They fight like crazy and they taste delicious. So let's have a look. Let's watch some more footage catching Grunter. So here we are again, different day. And if you're scoping spots, if you have a look out the back, it's pretty much the same spot. So out fishing in the bay again, trolling around. And well, we got a hook up straight away. So this is some footage from a little while ago. So I haven't watched this for a while. And straight away hooked up, same gear on the bait caster, 20 pound mainline, 20 pound leader, cabbage tree pump and winding again. This time a different lure. Might talk about that a little bit after, but fighting this grunter again, another grunter. I've got 2 lines out, so I think this time I was trolling along, a really slow trolling with the rod in the holder, and I was actually throwing a plastic out in front. So, yeah, when you're trolling along, you can troll really slow. Like you don't have to be going quick. Sometimes you got to go quick to get it down there, but as long as you're moving along a little bit, the lure will stay down, and it'll do its job. So yeah, you see me flailing around a little bit here, bit of chicken wing action, trying to get that line. So that pink braid. Sorry, I got a fly attacking me here. That pink braid is from my other line, so I think the grunters actually like pull me back around over the top of the line, and it's run underneath the line fortunately, and the line's popped up over the top. So I'm trying to grab the line and get it back out of the way. No, grunt's still running. So there you go, pump and wind. Thumbs right off the spool. So another thing, when it's so tempting when you use a bait caster, like if you're fighting a fish like this that runs, it's so tempting to like thumb the spool to get a bit of extra drag and slow it down, but it's not the best idea. Better let your drag do the work for you. So net's out, must be up. Bit of a quicker fight on that one. It's probably a smaller fish. Yeah, it looks a bit smaller than the last one. So rub back in the holder, trying to sort out that other line. Having 2 lines out is not a bad idea because you can't like increase your chances of catching fish, but it can be it can be a bit of a pain in the butt when you've got lines out all over the place and you're trying to fight fish and deal to them and sort it all out. So I had a question the other day about how do you find them? How do you find grunter? So here's the fish. Yeah, it's not quite as big as the last one, so I think it's probably still around that 50 mark, but it's not as big as a fish and came up a lot quicker. Yeah, so I had a question about catching a grunter. How do you find grunter? It's a good question. Like I'd say you just sort of happen upon them. So they love chasing bait, so they'll sort of be around where the bait are, and they love chasing particular types of bait. They really like prawns and things like that, but small white bait and things, and those sort of baits they will chase. So if you've found some bait and it's warmer weather, chances are you might find a grunter. Now they do school up again. You don't see them on I don't tend to see them on sounder like in big schools, but they'll be in the same area just patrolling for bait, and they'll sort of hang around in the same area for a while. So if you happen across some and you want to go back and catch them over the next couple of weeks, sometimes it's not a bad idea to kind of keep it to yourself for a little while, because if people go and start getting stuck into them, they tend to disappear pretty quick. So they'll move on, or you'll get a lot of people keeping them for food because they are such good eating fish. So, you know, you do what you want, but it's not a bad idea, again, if you do want to go back and try and get stuck into them a few times, to maybe keep it to yourself, or at least think about it anyway. So here's Dave getting a quick happy snap. So I think Dave's tripping out a little bit. So the reason why is I had been fishing with a poltergeist, so Halco RMG poltergeist in green and gold. So not your classic like saltwater lure that you'd be using to troll for grunter. Reason I was using it is because I'd fished for bass the session before, and why not just chuck it out there, give it a go. So sometimes it's worthwhile just trying something a little bit different, because you never know, you could get onto some new technique or something a little bit different that works really well, but that other people aren't using. So yeah, green and gold poltergeist. The 8 meter deep one as well. So the other day, as I said, sometimes I go belly up. If you flip them back over, give them a push, they'll usually swim off. Yeah. Alright, so it's going. Here's some more footage from a different session. The video's shocking. So what happened was, I think I decided to change the settings on the GoPro to film something on a I took it off wide mode and put it into like a normal sort of frame mode, just so that I could film something, and I forgot to put it back into wide mode. So I ended up with, it was a pretty good day of fishing too. So unfortunately I ended up with like all this footage that is just zoomed right in on the rod like this, and it's just kind of terrible. So yeah, not too much of that in there because I just cut it out. But anyway, here's another one. This one I believe was on an atomic shiner. So often if you scroll down the project page, you'll find some photos of like atomic shiners rigged with singles. So I think this was an atomic shiner double deep rigged with singles. The singles are really good because they don't tend to mess up the action on the lure quite as bad as when you go to heavier trebles. So the singles are good. These guys hit pretty hard, and you don't tend to pull hooks. The singles set really well. Once they're in, they don't come out. So, you know, if you do need to change hooks, it's not a bad idea sometimes to change over to singles, because they do a good job. As you can see, so unfortunately because of that zoomed in footage, I couldn't use much of it, but as you can see, it's pretty good time to have a look at a barred grunter or barred javelin fish. Now, there's two different types of grunter or javelin fish. This is a barred one, and you can see on its back it's got those kind of clear bars or stripes, those kind of browny dark stripes across the back. There's another type called the spotted grunter, and it has sort of spots across its back rather than those bars. Now, important that you sort of know the difference between them, mainly because if you want to keep them, the spotted grunters don't get as big, and their legal limit size is smaller. So I think the legal limit, and don't quote me on this, for a spotted grunter is more like around that 35 mark, whereas for a barred grunter, a barred javelin fish, their legal limit's 40. So just be aware that there are two different types. If you're going to keep them, double check the legal limits and double check that you got the right fish. So yeah, there you go, grunter again. Trolling lures again for them, not a bad way to find them, particularly because they're one of those fish that you got to kind of search for a little bit. Again, deep diving hardbodies are a good option. I wouldn't go too big with them. I think sort of that 50 to 75 millimeter mark is good. The lures that I generally use have a rattle in them, so pretty noisy lures. And again, slow trolling, covering ground, looking for bait, and fingers crossed you might find a few grunter and yeah, get stuck into them. So hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any other questions, amigos, just put them down the bottom and I'll get back to you. But yeah, 2 videos from 2 weeks. What is going on here? So catch you later.